What's going on, everybody? Good morning on this Friday. We are just about to the weekend here. But before we get there, we're going to do what we do pretty much every Friday after a Seahawks game. We talk about the pass rush. So, Pass Rush Friday is a go. And I'm going to tell you, the results this week may surprise you, and they might even upset you. I don't know if it makes any sense to get upset, but I do think they're going to surprise you because Pro Football Focus was pretty clear. They thought the Seahawks pressure was excellent against Washington. They thought we had over 30 total pressures. And I always say that I think it's good to get data from Pro Football Focus and Pro Football Reference because they kind of provide two extremes, and you know the truth is somewhere in the middle. But usually the difference between one and the other is not anywhere near what it was this week. Back in 60. All right, guys, let's take a minute so I can tell you about Sleeper, a one-stop shop for all your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat on sports games in real time with other users. You can get the fastest scores, blazing fast sports news and sports alerts right at your fingertips. And of course, you can use Sleeper to play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. This is the way sports were meant to be enjoyed together. So download Sleeper today. Use promo code SBN to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. And you can pair that with another promo they have right now where you can get a $20 entry free with no deposit required. So get both of those things going. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and growing. So check out Sleeper today, get to it, and go have some fun with sports this year. All right, welcome back. So here it is. Defensive line, they gave us 3 total pressures. One from Big Cat, one from Murphy, one from Reed. And I think all of these pressures ended in either a sack or a half sack. So basically what Pro Football Reference is saying is that we didn't really get any pressures from the defensive line. It was all or nothing, which, having watched that game, I don't know if I agree with that. I will acknowledge that Jaden Daniels did a good job avoiding pressures in that game and not allowing them to turn into sacks. I don't think that means that there wasn't a pressure. I don't know if that's what that means. So right off the bat, we're like, okay, I mean, maybe it's the case with Reed, maybe it's the case with Murphy. Can't say I think it's the case with Big Cat, though. I feel like he had probably more than one in that game. Off-ball linebackers, we had one, Drake Thomas. And again, that was a sack. So it's going to be one of those weeks where either you got a sack or you got nothing, it feels like almost. Like PFR was not messing around this week, and they just decided, look, you got to really get in there and clearly and obviously affect the play for it to count for us. And that's why I like PFR. That doesn't mean they don't take it too far sometimes, and this might be one of those weeks where they took it too far. I don't know. To keep it moving, the edge rushers, I mean, this is pretty extreme, right? They give nothing to Boye Mafe, which, okay, that's understandable, but nothing to Derek Hall. One to Uchenna Nwosu, one to DeMarcus Lawrence. Like, this was, I don't know if PFR was in a bad mood this week or something, but they didn't want to give out anything that wasn't a sack. It's kind of crazy. And, you know, I can respect it. I understand that PFR is the site that has higher standards, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But man, I mean, just a couple weeks ago, they gave DeMarcus Lawrence 13 pressures over 2 games. So they're capable of understanding the difference between a meaningful pressure and a non-meaningful pressure, and they're willing to give a player a lot of meaningful pressures in a game. But this week, man, I I I I I think I could get behind the general sense that a lot of our pressure on Jaden Daniels was kind of soft, but I definitely didn't think it was this soft. So 2 total pressures from the edge rushers, and then we got one from Witherspoon. That was the play where Okada got the interception, so that makes sense, right? That's a very obviously impactful pressure. So, okay. So Witherspoon gets his pressure there. And then we get nothing from the safeties. And seven pressures in that game. I watched that game. I definitely didn't feel like we were struggling to get pressure in that game, but PFR would have you believe that we did. And it's not the first time this year PFR has dinged us. Like, they gave us 7 pressures against New Orleans. Kind of a similar circumstance, kind of a similar situation, but I don't know. It doesn't feel right to me. I watched that game. I didn't feel like we only got 7 pressures on Jaden Daniels. I didn't. And I do think that this might be one of those weeks where they went too far, where they were a little too difficult. And I'm willing to live with that because that's the reason why I go to PFR for this data. But man, I felt like we deserved a little bit better. But big picture, things are good. We're not even halfway through the season yet. Leonard Williams, well on pace to have about the season I expected. Byron Murphy, easily on pace to have the season that I expected. He's going to be beyond what I expected, by the way. Let's just go ahead and pencil that in right now. Yeah, Jaron Reed's off pace a little bit, but I mean, it's really not that big of a deal. He was certainly the third most important of the defensive linemen this year anyway. We're getting what we wanted and then what I expected, rather, and then some out of the defensive line. Inside linebackers, we're on pace, right? Just kind of replace Tyrese Knight with Drake Thomas, but we're getting pressures from the off-ball linebackers at about the pace I was hoping, even a little bit better, actually. The edge rushers overall, it's still about what I was hoping for. Yes, Mafe and Hall are well off pace, but Nwosu and Lawrence have been great. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. Sneeze of all things. But yeah, Uchenna Nwosu, I thought this was going to be kind of the year we started to see a drop-off with him, but ever since he got healthy, really, and ready to go in week 4, he's been great. He's been phenomenal. So much so, I'm not 100% convinced he's gone at the end of the year. I was before the year started. And DeMarcus Lawrence, as a pass rusher, has been well beyond, I think, any normal expectations you would have had of him. And we're getting plenty of pressure out of the cornerback spot, actually more than I would have thought. Seen a lot of pressure from the corners. Safeties, about where I thought it would be overall. Pretty good. Like, we're on pace for well over 200 pressures. So, yeah, this week, kind of brutal. So much so that I'd even contested a little bit. But regardless, this pass rush, it's shaping up to be the best in football. And what else can you ask for other than that? Can't do much better than being the best. Okay, I'll see you guys later. Go Hawks. More videos soon. Injury report video will probably come later in the afternoon. It'll be a little bit late, but it will come. See you guys later. Go Hawks.